could be, our telecommunications, banking and finance, FMCG, automotive, logistics, government organizations, insurance businesses, and travel domain. Now I'll talk about some of the use cases related to banking and telecom sector. It's a typical, the use cases which I'm going to focus on are about service centers. Again, it is not limited to banking or telecom. Service center is something which could be applicable for, let's say, if I'm Samsung and I'm providing, services to my customers, wherein my customers need to walk into a brick and mortar store. So that, even there, this is very much applicable. So I'll talk about stores mapping, optimized route to reach that store, electronic token which can be generated, for customers, and how you can analyze customer feedback for their experience at the respective service center. So source mapping is nothing but, let's say, I'm looking for banks, ATMs and branches around me. Let's say I'm looking for ICICI Bank branches which are around me. I can go to ICICI Bank website, and then I can locate, this is the address, these are the branches within, let's say, in a particular city. Now, if I just get to know the address, that gives me some piece of information. But if I'm able to visualize this information over Maps interface, which means, as they say, seeing is believing. You know, it provides a better experience to me that yes, this is where I am right now. That's my location, and around me, I'm looking for certain branches. So, which is the nearest branch? So this can be achieved with the help of store locator application. Again, as I mentioned earlier, Google Maps being the best location intelligence platform, you know it is very very critical for any for an application like store locator. So if I'm able to locate where are the branches or ATMs of ICICI Bank around me located, or let's say it could be, I'm looking for DHL branches. I want courier service, a parcel to be delivered somewhere, and I need to locate which is the nearest branch. So I, if I'm able to visualize over Maps interface where are the stores located, where is the branch located, it goes a long way in, you know, creating a better experience for me as a user, and which ultimately translates into business. It leads to increased revenue, leads to better satisfied customers. Now imagine this: once I zero down upon a particular bank branch, or let's say a courier delivery branch, next step would be to you know to know how do I reach that particular branch. So again, this is where you can use Google Maps. Solutions will use Google Maps to understand how much time it will take from the current location of the user till to the point where branch is located. So directions API is something which you can use to understand how much time it will take for the user to go from point A to the location where the branch is located. And again, it can be visualized over Google Maps. So in all, it is creating a better experience for me as a user. Next is, imagine this: you go to an ICICI Bank branch for your transaction services or routine services. Most of the times what happens is, or let's say it could be a Vodafone store, it could be an Airtel store. You go to the store, you generate an electronic token. Most of the times what happens is, you happen to have a queue in front of you, and you are supposed to you have to wait for before your turn comes up. What if we could generate the token electronically sitting at home, you know which will give me the information what is my number right now. I'm, let's say, 10th in the queue, and considering my current location and the store's location, it will take, let's say, 10 minutes for me to go from my location. I can plan my travel better within the spare time. With let's say if I happen to save up to, let's say, 30 minutes before actually my turn comes up, I can plan my journey accordingly. I can utilize my time better. you know all these solutions are possible again with the help of Google Maps, because Google Maps is telling me what is the time it will take from my current location till the store's location, considering current traffic condition. And at the same time, bank, or let's say the store, is giving me the information that as per my token, my turn, I'm 10th in the queue, and on an let's say a typical customer uh, gets served, in let's say 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So accordingly, I can get to know what time will my turn come, and then I can plan my journey accordingly. So customer feedback. So let's say customer happens to come to visits the store, and you can have some sort of feedback from him. How was the experience all about, and this feedback can be analyzed at the back end to improve the processes. Or it could be like, let's say, you can visualize over Google Maps across different stores pan India, what sort of feedback is coming from a particular location. And this is going to give a lot of insights about where, which are the areas of improvement, which are the areas as a business leader I need to focus on. So next is, I'll talk about a couple of use cases from food delivery, FMCG, and insurance domains, which will talk about how Google Maps can be leveraged for business expansion and planning. So use cases can be about gap analysis or proximity marketing, which I'll cover in detail. Before that, I would want to play a video which will give you more insights about how businesses are leveraging Google Maps for business expansion, and how location is critical for business expansion.
I think that was a really great example which showcased how street side food hawkers are are experiencing an increase in their business because Gojek is helping them in delivering uh, food packets across different locations in a very optimized manner. And there has been a surge in the revenue. There has been an increase in the number of orders across for all of the hawkers across Indonesia. Next is I would want to talk about gap analysis, wherein how Google Maps can be leveraged to understand, which are the avenues for me from business expansion perspective, and which are the areas wherein, let's say, my store is not present, or let's say, business wise, I'm not present. So this shows, hotspots. The hotspots can be created wherein which can showcase, let's say, which have good amount of population, which have good amount of target audience from product perspective, but then there is no store available, or let's say my business is not available. So all of this is possible, because I'm able to visualize that yes, I am not available, I'm not present in a particular location, And from business perspective, and this is happening because because I'm able to visualize, which actually helps in get getting a better decision, creating creating an informed strategy for business expansion. Next is proximity marketing. Let's say I'm a customer traveling by, and businesses, let's say if I've installed app of, let's say, Domino's, and through that app, if I Domino's can get to know that yes, I'm traveling, I'm passing by a particular mall or an important point of interest. So this information can be leveraged by businesses to populate certain notifications about discounts which are available, or let's say the offers which are ongoing right now, because the customer is passing by, he can be informed that yes, you can leverage this discount, or let's say this particular offer, because in the vicinity of the point of interest, or let's say a particular mall where this outlet is present, where those particular offers are going. So again, this is happening because I'm able to know that yes, I'm approaching a particular point of interest, which again can be, which is coming from Google Maps, can be utilized in the solution through Google Maps only. And because Google Maps will tell me how far I am right now from that point of interest, or the point where my outlet is present, specifically I can target certain customers which are passing by. So that's the power of Google Maps, and can actually help in increasing revenue and profitability. Next, I'll talk about food delivery and logistics use cases. How can Google Maps be leveraged for improving the operations, improving the business processes? So one is customer service, another is product delivery area, which can be defined using Google Maps, and then I'll talk about field force operations. Before that, I would want to play this video, which will give more insights about how different enterprises are utilizing Google Maps for their field operations, or let's say for reaching their customers or providing the better services.
I love the job. Helping people out when they're broken down always makes people happy and brings a smile to my face.
Untitled Assistance provides insurance and roadside assistance. Customers at the forefront of everything we do in roadside assistance. It's a competitive advantage. The ability for customer service assistants to actually provide a quick, effective service could save a minute of the time to get there, and that minute could be very important. In times of distress, they like that reassurance of how far away a provider is. The Google Maps API allows us to have a more accurate baseline of information. Being able to overlay provider coverage areas allows us to identify which provider is best suited. We can identify clearly where a certain provider is and be able to ascertain from that how far or how long it will take for the actual provider to reach the customer. We do that in real time.
We've got a gentleman flat tire on the highway southbound. With the information that we have now, it's quicker and quicker. It's given to me straight from the call taker, talking directly to the customer, as opposed to what it used to be.
It's very important for us to be able to decide which unit do we dispatch to make sure that the assistance is delivered in an optimal way. With Google Street View, we can actually talk to customers, say where you're located exactly, are you near this building? So when we dispatch a unit, they can get it very quickly and efficiently. Google Maps API allows us to be able to really improve the customer experience, building the rapport with the customer and keeping them engaged that help is at hand, and we're always there to support them.
That gave us really good insights about how you can service your customers in a better manner. And Allianz, being one of the leading providers of RSS service, is using Google Maps to make sure customers are serviced, in the best possible turnaround time. So as I mentioned, there are use cases which can be used. So there are use cases for business process optimization, like customer service. Imagine this, You have a customer which is located at a particular location and it needs some sort of service. Let's say, I am Samsung, and I have received a ticket or a request from one of the customers to service a product. And I have, so how will I go about doing it? In the solution, I would want to locate which are the closest service engineers around that location, and then I would see what is their current work stack, and combining, understanding, how much time it will take for a particular service engineer from his current location to the customer's location where service has to be provided. I can take the best possible decision. I can have the best possible algorithm which will define which service engineer should be visiting the or providing the service to the customer. So that's customer service all about. uh, and then let's say if I'm a pizza delivery company, or let's say I'm a food delivery company, and every restaurant, or let's say a pizza outlet, will have a defined area. We know Domino's is famous for providing service within 30 minutes. It delivers pizza to you within 30 minutes of ordering. So how is that possible? So that requires use of Google, extensive use of Google Maps, because you need to understand from the current location of my kitchen, or let's say the pizza delivery outlet, what is its current traffic condition usually. And basis that, an algorithm can be configured which will tell me that yes, I should be covering these many areas. So this is what the polygon in the slide depicts. This is my food delivery area. So all this is possible because of Google Maps. So imagine this, if this polygon was not created properly, or it is incorrect, so what is the amount of business loss a company like Domino's is going to incur? So which is why Google Maps provides are very very critical, considering you're dependent on traffic data, and Google Maps, as a matter of fact, provides the best possible traffic data. Next is, let's say I'm a logistics company, and my daily operations are about creating routes for my team. Now again, when you go about creating a route, a service engineer, or let's say a field force guy, will be required to visit multiple locations. And it is very, very critical for me to create an optimized route, because I am required to reimburse my service engineers on the basis of amount of distance, or let's say it could be on the basis of amount of field field operations time. So Google Maps again can be utilized to create the shortest possible time, shortest possible distance, or let's say shortest duration wise route. So again, this is very very critical for businesses. Next is, let's say I want to visualize my field force. I can do that using Google Maps, and if I'm able to visualize where is my service engineer at a given particular point of time, I can I can utilize him, or I can create a better route for him. Because let's say consider this, during a typical day, I keep getting a lot of requests, dynamic requests for let's say it could be for customer service, or let's say a delivery which has to be done. Now if I know where is my delivery guy right now, or where is my field force guy right now, I can allocate I can allocate job to him dynamically. So again, it's about optimizing field operations, and utilizing my field force in the best possible manner, which in turn leads to increased productivity, and in turn leads to increased revenue and profitability. And next, I'll talk about a couple of case studies. So ICICI Bank utilizes ATM and branch locator, which again utilizes Google Maps. Google Maps is the heart and soul of the solution. We discussed about service centers use case earlier. So this is about providing better service to the best possible service to the prospective users and customers, existing customers. So another use case which I want to talk about is Tora Cabs. It's a fleet management company. It's similar to Ola and Uber. And again, we know, Google Maps is at the heart of Uber and Ola. It tells you, how much time it will take from reaching, this particular location to the destination. It also tells you how much time it will take for the driver to come to your location for the pickup. Increasingly what is happening is fintechs have started utilizing Google Maps, and I would want to talk about dozens use case. It's a fintech in the UK. Intention was to decrease customer service cost and to give a view to the users where are they spending location wise, where are they spending their money. So dozens created a solution using Google Maps which showcased which locations at which particular locations customers or users were spending money. This gave them insights about if there was possibility of controlling the expenses or making sure some transactions which are not required. It also helped in understanding where are the fraudulent transactions happening, and the result was they were able to reduce 90% of the cost for support services, customer service calls, and it also led to 100% increase in the user base within couple of months of solution implementation. I would now want to talk about Ramco Cement case study, which is using Google Maps for their business profitability.
The flagship company or Ramco group of companies, sixth largest cement company in India and second largest in South India.
Basically, it's a very low cost, high volume demand. If you want cement tomorrow, I bet you put this cement in your house yesterday. There is a level of competition. Google Maps, and reviewing 200 salespeople. Spreadsheet is not focused.
He wanted to see his dealers on the map, he wants to see his salespeople on the map, he wants to see his plants on the map, he wants to see his competition on the map.
Now, when I put it in the Google Map, I'm able to see the atmosphere around me. What is the environment? How many competitors in his area? Cement is very logistics based industry. Almost 50% of the cost goes towards logistics. So, unless we know where is the consignment, where it reaches, when it should reach, where it should reach, at what cost it reach, unless we coordinate all these things, it is impossible to manage the cost.
The data visualization is a big thing. If you start seeing it on the map, it starts making sense to you.
And last year, when cement industry has grown only by 5% in India, Madras Cement we grown by 18% in India. We are very proud to be part of building wealth of India.
Now, I would want to talk about what we are, what do we represent. So, Lepton Software is a 25-year-old organization. Location intelligence is at the is the bread and butter for us, and we are all about location. Anything and everything about location is what Lepton stands for. We have our solutions for more than 8 industries, be it FMCG, be it retail, automotive, telecom, banking. We are a team of more than 200 people spread across different geographies. We are headquartered at Gurgaon, and we have a GS team which has very strong data practices, and we also have data scientists and engineers who are engaged in developing location intelligence solutions. Google Cloud is a Google Cloud and Google Maps. We are premium partner for Google for Maps business across Southeast Asia and India. We are also partner with Whitney Bose for location intelligence solutions, and we are also partner with Infovista and Vodafone. Some of the clients that we have worked and we have been working are Geo, Google, PNG, Airtel, Vodafone, and to name a few. I hope this session was informative, and I would want to take up questions and answers now. Next webinar is going to be held on 13th of Feb and I would want all of you to join in and gain more insights about Google Maps and location intelligence. I would want to know, if you have a couple of questions, some questions, I would want to address them now.
Thank you, Mr. Jevin, for providing for the insightful presentation. We would now begin our Q&A session and respond to your queries. I would also request all of you to type in your queries in the Q&A chat window for Mr. Jatin to answer them. Also, we would request you to kindly fill in the feedback form shared in the link. We would appreciate your suggestions so that we can improve our upcoming webinars. The first question that we have received is from Miss Madhu. The question is, if I have to know the distance between point A to point B, how many hits will happen? Kindly ask Mr. Take the question.
To answer this, distance between 2 points can be known using distance metrics API, and distance metrics API works on the concept of elements. It does not work on the concept of hits. In a single, when I say hits, I'm referring to a request. In a single request, you can have more than one element. Element is nothing but the combination of origin and destination. So you have origin array in distance matrix, you have destination array in distance matrix. In a single hit or a request, I can have one pair of element, one source and one destination, or I can have n elements, which could be, let's say, 2 lat longs or 2 places in the origin array, and let's say 5 elements, five lat longs or places in the destination array. So 2 cross 5, which is 10, is what you are going to be, what you're going to be accountable for if you have 2 lat longs in the origin array and 5 in the destination array. So it's a matrix. Distance matrix works on the concept of matrix of elements. My next question is, my distance matrix is giving a huge bill of 300% more than my earlier bill. Okay. So this is again from Madhu. Madhu, we can take it offline. You can share your implementation mechanism, and then I can look into it. Distance matrix distance matrix API is divided into 2 categories: basic and advanced. Basic is when you only need to know distance between 2 destinations. So this will cost you 1 element. If you also need distance and travel time considering current traffic conditions, it is an advanced call for you. And there is a difference in the pricing of basic and advanced calls. It also depends on the number of elements which you're calling. As I mentioned earlier, number of lat longs or places which you have in the origin array, and number of points you have in the destination array. So you are liable to be charged for the number of elements which are there. Yeah. So route covers detects one-way entry. Okay. So this is the next question. No, no, Gopal. Routes does not tell you that yes, it's a one-way entry or it's a two-way entry. It does not. Next question is, what is the frequency of live traffic update? So it is highly dynamic. Let's say if we are talking and if I want to know how much time it will take for me to go from point A to point B, it keeps changing every moment. So it is very, very live. It is very, very dynamic. Yeah. Next question again is from Madhu. Why is the cost increased exorbitantly? Madhu, as I mentioned earlier, we can take it offline. I would need to understand your implementation, and then I can comment why it has increased. It could be so your cost could also decrease. So it has to be checked. The way I need to understand how you are implementing it. Next question is from Sucheta. Can you give some insights on what kind of demographic data is available for India in Google Maps? So Google Maps is a platform. It does not talk about demographic data. Demographic data is something which can be provided by us, which is Lepton software, and it can be utilized for the solution. Next question is from Murli. How do we increase the accuracy of geo coordinates? Which capturing by Android which are getting captured by Android device, we normally see a lot of accuracy issues during this process. So Android has a feature wherein it tells you for a particular lat long what is the accuracy at any given point of time. So maybe you can put some sort of threshold. Let's say if the accuracy which is thrown by GPS device is less than 10 meters, I will not be, or let's say more than 10 meters, I will not be taking those geo coordinates. So that's one way. And to increase the accuracy, let me talk about a use case. It's a logistics use case wherein, as a manager, I'm tracking my field force, I'm visualizing or monitoring where is my field force right now, and my field force is having, let's say, a GPS device. So GPS always has some sort of inaccuracy associated with it. Now, if you connect GPS points, the path which you will be able to see is, it will not be aligned along the road. To align the path along the road, or let's say to interpolate those GPS points to the closest road, you can also make use of Roads API, which is again a very, very powerful feature of Google Maps. You have the GPS points with you, you feed it to you provide this as an input to Roads API. Roads API will tell you, which is the nearest road for that particular the coordinate which you are getting from GPS device. Next question is from Nishant. Drive route based use case does it consider the live traffic pattern and predicted traffic, or it's totally based on Google based prediction only? See, there can be multiple ways of understanding, what is the time it will take me to travel from point A to point B. But if I talk specifically about Google Maps, yes, it is highly accurate. We all use Google Maps consumer app, and we all experienced, what is the accuracy of Google Maps. If I say to go, if Google Maps is telling me it will take me 60 minutes to go from point A to point B, most of the times, depending on, the average speed, yes, that turns out to be true and accurate. Next question is from Ashwini. We are using Google Maps URL scheme in iOS app. It works with mobile app, but not with CarPlay. Ashwini, I would need to know your implementation, and I would need more details about your question as well. We can take it offline. You can drop in a mail to me, and then I can take it up. Next question is from Sujit. Can we get location name and area address from that long? Yes, you can make use of a geocoding API if you have a lat long. So geocoding API works for geocoding, which is nothing but converting an address to lat long, and which is nothing but forward geocoding. And geocoding API is also applicable for reverse geocoding, wherein I have the lat long and I need to know the address for that lat long. So geocoding API can be used for it. Next question is from frequency of satellite image updates monthly, 3 months once. So frequency of Google Maps imagery update is something I can't comment about. This is something which is controlled by Google product team. We can raise it can be questioned through Google. We can raise a case to Google support team and check with them, what is the frequency after which Google Maps imagery is updated. Next question is from Nishant. Do we have any option to check user feedback? Like if someone is not taking predicted route, then next possible route suggested will be based on in consideration of user feedback given. Again, this can be utilized in this solution. Let's say if Google Maps is suggesting you to go from point A to point B by through a particular route, via a particular route, and because let's say users have given some sort of feedback, this route is not motorable, or not good for a certain type of vehicle. Again, this can be inculcated in the solution, and while creating routes, Google will suggest you, let's say, the same route, but then you can overlay, you can have your own route in place and create the route using your own network of roads, or whatever information you have about a particular route. And next question is from Joseph. Billing of Google Maps API started for India. Uh, yes, I think you're questioning about Pay As You Go launch. So Pay As You Go was launched in November last year. So billing has started. Yes. Next question is from Madhu. Point of interest in Jammu is very less and not updated for last 6 years. What is the frequency of updates? So Google Maps are updated, and now that we are conversating or we are talking to you guys, even during that time, Google Maps is getting updated. So, but then frequency of updating a POIs or data about a particular geography is something which is controlled by product team itself. I would not be in a position to comment on it. We can always check with Google on this. Drop me an email if you have specific queries about certain points of interest from JNK, Jammu and Kashmir. Next question is from Sujit. Can we make road map on mobile device app through address and what we called? I think I'm unable to understand this question. Sujit, I would want you to drop an email to me and then I can address this query. If you could provide more details about your query, yeah, it will help me in answering it better. Next question is from Mananda. In the new Pay As You Go, does Google charge for APIs requests which have failed? Basically, response was not served for the request. If you are getting an error while firing a query, Google will not charge you. But if you are getting no results, yes, there is a charge associated with it. For example, if I talk about places autocomplete feature, wherein I'm utilizing search widget from Google Maps APIs, and I start searching for any location. If I search for, let's say, Mumbai, I will get certain locations from Mumbai. I'll be paying a charge for it. I'm getting a result because I'm getting some sort of results. Now consider this: if I start keying in A, B, C, D, E, F, G, which is nothing but which is not a valid location, and for these cases, I will not be getting results from Google Maps because there is no location called as ABCDEF in Google's database. So again, it can be looked into, what sort of results, what sort of inputs are being provided to the API, and if you're getting results or not. Next question is from Gopal. Can I restrict Google key-wise daily quota limitation or project-wise? Yes, you can put a cap on the number of calls for different APIs. That's a daily limit. Let's say I can specify, more than 1,000 calls for geocoding is something which I do not want to allow under my existing project. So this is something which is in place. You can also set budgetary alerts. Let me take an example. I can generate email alerts wherein if my budget is exceeding, let's say $400 is my monthly budget, I can set email alerts and I will be getting, whenever my budget is close. I can also specify, whenever 50% of my budget is consumed, generate an alert. Whenever it reaches 75% of my monthly budget, give me an alert. Whenever 100% of my 100% limit for my specified budget is reached, give me an alert, and I can take appropriate actions. So budgetary alerts, email alerts are not hard stops. It will not stop Google Maps request. Your Google Maps request will keep functioning. It will be served by Google. But in case of hard stop for particular APIs for a daily limit, yes, it's a hard stop. I can specify more than 100 requests for geocoding is something which I do not want to allow. So both the mechanisms are available. Next question is from Ashwini. We are going to upload Android Auto Support app in Thailand, but Google is not supporting Android Auto in Thailand. But our client wants to upload that app on Play Store. Is it acceptable by Google? Android. So Play Store is something which is different from Google Maps. I would not be in a position to comment on. You can raise a case to Google support team for this query. Next question is from Madhu. Any special consideration on piercing for emergency I think it's pricing. Any special consideration on pricing for emergency support team on health across India? So Google provides a monthly discount of $200 for each and every enterprise. So that's something you can utilize. That is again, it is inbuilt. And if I talk about Google Maps pricing, uh, higher is your volume, higher is the discount. So if your volumes are high, your per unit cost comes down. So discounts are inbuilt already. So those were the questions for today. I would want, if you have any queries, you may drop in emails to me. I would try to answer the emails, in the best possible time, in the shortest possible turnaround time. I hope it was informative, and I want to connect with you guys again in future. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Mr. Jatin, for answering all the queries. I would like to thank the audience for today. We will be sharing the recording of this session with all of you over the email for your future reference. Looking forward to your attendance on our next Google Maps webinar on 13th Feb at 11 a.m. We will be sending you the registration link on your personal mail IDs. It is basically for Google Maps Master Support. The webinar will be for Google Maps Master Support. So any further queries? I am just typing in the email ID on which you can send in your queries to us. Or if you have any feedback to give to us for our webinars that we need to incorporate in our next session for Google Maps. Thank you very much, everyone. Goodbye.